Now we will begin our weekly conference call with Coach James Spady of Alabama A&M University. So, Spady, are you on?
Conference recording started.
Yes, I'm here.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Morning. I'm good, thank you.
Good. If you would, just talk to us about last week's game at Auburn, as well as a recap of the season that you guys have had.
Well, going down to Auburn, you're playing in a venue that's really remarkable. We drive on campus, and the campus is immaculate. It's a setting that is something that we all aspire to. And I was cautious that our football team might be envious to a certain extent, or felt maybe beneath the radar, below the radar, if you will. But we did not play that way. We competed well. Our defense came out and really kind of, I think it might have shocked Auburn a little bit early in the game. They overwhelmed us before it was all said and done, and we wound up losing 55-0 to a better football team. And I don't think there's any shame in that. To lose to a team that's better than you, or to get beat by someone that's better than you, there's no shame in that. The shame is when you back down, when you blink, when you shudder. And our football team has not done that all season. And I'm very proud of the effort that we put forth. They were not intimidated by the stage or the bright lights. They went out there and we slugged with them, and just did not end up on our end, positively on our end. Anyway, we'll continue to hopefully play folks like that, because it's good for recruiting. It's good for you to test yourself against a great opponent. And I think our football team has grown throughout the season. It's a good way to end the season, to play against some folks like that.
All right. Thank you, Coach. The floor is now open for questions regarding Coach James Spady of Alabama A&M.
Hey, Coach Spady, good morning to you. It's Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Morning, Ty.
Hey, Coach. I saw a picture on AL.com of an exchange between you and Gus Malzahn after the game. What was that conversation like, briefly?
It was a really good conversation. Gus Malzahn is a class act. And, he knew that, the game was not, what I wanted it to be. And he was just being very positive and very reassuring. He told me that, stay the course, that he felt like we had a really good football team and would have a chance to be successful. And I thanked him. And, we agreed to visit later at a later date.
Hey, Coach, I know in wrapping up the season, you took on Auburn. What can you take away from this game that you can help apply towards next season when you come for another season?
Yeah, there's learning opportunities in everything. You can learn what to do, and you can learn what not to do in just about everything. And so we went through the video. We're going to still show this to our kids, even though it's the end of the season, and we're gonna sit down with our kids and show it to them, and try to take some lessons from what we're able to put on the video, and then build going into the off season. We're gonna go out and recruit and try to get better as a football team, and then present those things to our team during the off season that will allow them to be more competitive next year.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Still taking your questions for Coach Spady at Alabama A&M.
Coach Spady, Trevin A. Jones, SBM Sports. How you doing, Coach?
I'm good, thank you, Trevin. How are you?
I'm well, Coach. Hey, Coach, did you see anything outstanding from your players in the past 3 weeks that will help you moving forward to next season? And when I say that, I know you have a couple players leaving, like your quarterback. You have a couple seniors who were leaders on the team. But any underclassmen that kind of stood out?
Offense, I want to get together with offense.
Yeah, Trevin, we did see some talent rise to the top during this season. There's no doubt about it. Some of our younger guys, we were able to do something this year that we haven't done. On Thursdays, we scrimmage our young guys. And we hadn't been able to do that in the past because of class schedules. But we rearranged our Thursday schedule so that we could scrimmage those young guys and be able to evaluate from week to week who can help us in this area. What's the best position for this guy? What we need to do to improve this dude. I mean, and that really has been a valuable tool for us to plan where we're going in terms of recruiting and what we're going to do, with the position battles for going into next season. And so I'm encouraged. There's some young talent that we have on this football team. It's going to help us win going forward. And, just watching the guys that were out there, just about everybody's coming back. We only had 9 or 10 seniors leave, and we got just about everybody coming back. And so they've all got some valuable experience, and hopefully that translates to us being a little bit better next season.
And, Coach, the reason I asked that question is because if you look at the stats, you see Jordan had a pretty good season running the ball for you, and he was only a freshman, if I'm not mistaken. And, again, as you said, you only have a few seniors leaving from the starters. How does that make you feel, and what do you think about Jordan and his development?
Yeah, I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged that, hopefully that gives us an opportunity to be competitive. I said that a moment ago. And as far as Jordan is concerned, again, the only folks that are surprised at his success are the folks outside the program. Those of us who worked with Jordan all summer really kind of understood that there's not going to be anything that stops him because he's going to put in the work, and he's a credit to his family. He's going to be a great ambassador for A&M football, and I'm glad we got him on our football team.
And, Coach, my last question, I know Ty alluded to it earlier. Finishing the season against someone like Auburn at that caliber, is this someone that you'd rather see earlier in the season than because you won the last conference game against Jackson State, and then you're coming in to play an Auburn school? Would that game be better earlier in the mid-season, or is it at the end of the season all right with you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't given that much thought. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather win my last game than to lose my last game. And so if we could have a competitive effort and have an opportunity to win the game, that's certainly a positive. But I'm a football coach, man, and you know what? I'm going to play this. I'm going to compete with the schedule that they gave us, and I'm going to encourage my guys to try and go out and be successful with the schedule that they gave us. So it is what it is. I don't have a preference, early, late. I don't care.
I like that football coach statement there, Coach. Thank you for your answer, and I wish you continued success.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Are there any other questions for Coach Spady here at Alabama A&M?
Hey, Coach, Ty Miller again. I just want to follow up with the conference again. As it shook out, Alabama A&M finished in second place behind Alcorn State. How encouraging is that going forward for your team, being that you were that close to possibly going to the SWAC championship game?
Yeah, I mean, and if we talked about it as a staff just a few minutes ago, and if ifs and buts, and all that kind of stuff, but if we were a little bit closer, if we had won a couple of those close games, I mean, we lead Alcorn at the half, and they go on a 21-point explosion in the fourth quarter. Texas Southern beats us in the last 4 seconds of the game. I mean, if we win those two with what we did at the end of the season, I mean, we're having a different conversation right now. But, that didn't happen. So, yeah, I take encouragement in the fact that we're pretty close. Maybe one thing here or there can make the difference. But, I remember when I got here, we were losing all those games that we won close this year. We were losing those games when I first got here. So I'm encouraged, and I do know my football team now, and hopefully we can put them in position to be successful going forward.
Okay. Thank you, Coach, and good luck towards next year.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. All right. I don't think there are any other questions for you, Coach Spady. Thanks so much for joining us this season, and have a great holiday.
Thank you so much.
Conference recording started.
Right.
Conference recording
that was
stopped.
Coach Spady at Alabama A&M. Now we go to Montgomery to talk things over with Coach Brian Jenkins of Alabama State University, whose team was on bye last week and will play Miles this Thursday in the 30-day Classic. Coach Jenkins, are you on?
Yeah, I'm on. How you guys doing?
We're all right. Coach, how about yourself?
I'm all right.
Good, good. If you would, just talk to us a little bit about you guys' bye week as well as a look forward towards Miles.
Well, it was a week where we got a chance to get some recruiting stuff done in order to prepare for the future. And, you never have enough time to recruit. And we also got a chance to really self-scout and evaluate a lot of things offensively and defensively, as well as me sitting down with the staff and evaluating them and letting them know in one-on-one discussions some of the highs and lows and plus and minuses and favorable things and unfavorable things that I thought that transpired this season, and a lot of things that need to be changed. And so I think this off week really helped us. It helped our guys get a little rest, but it also helped all of us be able to bring some things into perspective. We had to talk as a team and just talked about life and issues and just obstacles and just overcoming them. And I tell you what, through it all, no matter how dim or how dark or how bad this season turned out, when you take a step back and look at it and you still have your family here, you still have your life, health, and strength, and, you're still on a good side of things. So we were able to bring that into perspective with our players and get them to understand that all is not done, all is not over. In life, you're going to go through certain things, and you got to be strong enough to overcome them and keep going. But through it all, you got to be thankful and look at the things of blessings that are given to you daily.
All right. Now the floor is open for questions for Coach Jenkins at Alabama State University.
Coach Jenkins, Trevor A. Jones, SPN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
I'm making the best of it. What's going on, buddy?
I'm doing well, sir. Hey, Coach, four of the losses that you had this season were by 7 points or less. Can you talk about that, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I tell you what, that's tough. That is really tough when you look at things like that, and those losses were against high-caliber teams, But it also allows me to know that I got to do a better job of getting our players and coaches to understand how to finish. And that's what it all boils down to. And if you look at those four losses, all of those four losses, we were in the lead going into the fourth quarter. So when we go back and I do my breakdown in the off season, that's going to be a major factor the last 5 minutes of the game and see what's happening or what happened to our football team that we didn't hold on. But it also is a little bit encouraging, believe it or not, because, we're a young football team and inexperienced football team, and I tried to hide that. We got a lot of new faces in place and a lot of young guys playing. It's actually encouraging because it lets you know you're right there. You're right there. If you look at the Alcorn game, it went all the way down to the end to a blocked field goal. Prairie View went all the way down to overtime. A&M, same thing. Missed extra point, the first one all year, and went down to fourth down and overtime and several other games. And then when you look at the stand that we made against Grambling, that's a superior football team, and only giving up 21 points and the last 7 points coming in the last 50 seconds of the game, it shows some promise. When I was a young coach, I didn't know how to look at promise and the future of good and anything that was bad. But as I mature, I look at this thing and I say, you know what? We got a chance to be a pretty good ball club and a pretty good program in the future. Right now, this season was just not our season, but it did teach us a lot of things as coaches and as players. And to lose those 4 games by 7 points is actually encouraging because it lets us know that we're right there. And the piece that we got to finish is learning how to finish. And that's the thing that's encouraging to me. And I think those are things that are fixable with our ball club.
And Coach, Khalid Thomas, if you don't mind talking about him for a second, and the reason I bring him up is a 1,000-yard rusher, plus he helped out with the receiving game this year. And then you have 3 other receivers that did pretty well, 2 of them over 300 yards receiving. Can you talk about their contribution to the team this season?
Yeah, definitely. Khalid Thomas is our ace in the hole. I mean, everybody knows it. He's probably the second best running back that I've ever coached. The only other guy that may have been better has been Tyrell Fenroy that I coached at Louisiana Lafayette. But Khalid Thomas, Uno, as we call him, I tell you what, just a superb guy. And whenever you can get a guy that goes out and performs like he's performed, with the season going like it went for us, that lets you know the type of character that he has. But his contribution to this football team is very greatly appreciated, and I want to go on record as saying I was honored to have the opportunity to coach this young man. He gave this program everything he had, and I tell you what, I've been very privileged to be able to say that I'm his head coach for the years that he was at Alabama State, and I'm very appreciative of his effort and everything that he's given to this program. I love that young man. I love everything about him and everything he's done, and I can't say enough about the things that he contributed to our program. And because of his contributions, our program is going to go to higher heights because he set a standard at that running back spot that guys have to meet. He set an expectation at that running back spot that guys are going to have to really work to achieve. Those other guys that contribute, Nigel Lee is a true freshman, and that's encouraging. You got a guy like Nigel who performed at the level he performed at and put up some good, decent numbers, and it's going to be a good thing to see him do some things in the future. And then when you get to some other guys, Willis White and Palmer Graham, all young guys, that have contributed to this team and really has a bright future in this program. And that's what's encouraging for me as the head coach, knowing that those guys are coming back and they're young and they have the talent to take it to another level.
Wow. And, Coach, my last question, Miles College, what stands out in your mind as you prepare for them?
Well, I mean, Miles College is an opponent that they truly play with heart and determination. And, I mean, that's their football coach. I mean, they play for their coach, and you can see that. And he's a good guy. Ruffin is a good guy. Me and him are love-hate type of guys. But I tell you what, I got a lot of respect for him and the job that he's done at that program. And I tell you, when you look at the job he's done, it's amazing. And they're going to come in and, ready to play us and ready to try to, walk away with a victory. But they're a very disciplined football team. They're very detailed in what they do. They're not out of position. They do some good things in the special teams area. Offensively, they're very sound. Defensively, they run around and make things very hard for you. So, it's going to be a good football game, and I'm really looking forward to it. But Miles College is a good football team, and they're coached by a great guy. And I tell you what, he's done a phenomenal job with that program. But I'm excited about lining up, against those guys at the Turkey Day Classic. Steve Harvey has done a tremendous job at bringing Hollywood to Montgomery. And it's exciting with all the things that's going on. So I want to thank Steve Harvey and his crew for the things that they've done for Alabama State. And just the atmosphere is electric around here, man. You guys should see it. It's Hollywood in Montgomery, if you can imagine that. But, when it all boils down to it, the Alabama State Hornets and Miles College got to line up and play a football game, and I think it's going to be a good one.
Thanks for your time, Coach, and good luck Thursday.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Coach, Ty Miller from SBN Sports. I want to follow up on that a little bit about Alabama State and Miles College. You mentioned the Hollywood aspect down in Montgomery. What's it like for you playing your second Thanksgiving Day Classic? What was it like the first time, and what are you most looking forward to?
Well, it was an honor, first of all. It's an honor to be able to coach at a university like Alabama State and to be involved in, the Turkey Day Classic. I've heard about the Turkey Day Classic and all the battles with Tuskegee over the years and different things like that. But it's a true honor to have a chance to coach in the Turkey Day Classic. And winning it last year really felt good because it let me know that my name will forever be, in line with this wonderful and traditional football game. And to have the opportunity to line up against Miles and play another good football team and coach against another good, sound, solid football coach that's very well respected is also good too. So I look forward to it. Once again, you know, he's a competitor. I'm a competitor. He's a guy that's not going to back down, and I'm not going to back down, and we're going to go at it. But at the end of the day, we can shake hands as men and have a mass amount of respect for each other, and then go ahead and enjoy the festivities, you know, that's out there for us to enjoy. But I'm really looking forward to it, man. I'm excited about it, and I tell you what, like I say, if people were here, they would be amazed at what's going on. They had a tremendous gospel concert with Kurt Franklin and several other people last night, and I tell you what, the Acadome was packed, man, and they got a comedy show tonight and several other things going on. I tell you what, Steve Harvey and his crew and Greg Calhoun, they've done a phenomenal job, man, of just really creating an atmosphere of excitement and a time where, you know, families can just enjoy everybody at different events. So, like I said, I can't say a thank you enough to Steve Harvey and his crew and for the job that they've done. But like I said, it's like Hollywood and Montgomery, man. It's amazing, but it's really good and enjoyable. And I'm just really looking forward to Thursday, to the game, and then after the game, being able to sit down and really enjoy family and all the other festivities that's out there.
And last season, the game, I guess the final score maybe not indicative as to how close that game was. Pretty close to the first half. You were able to pull away in the second half. Reggie's team this year has had some hard knocks along the way. Most of the games that they've lost have been kind of close and near the end. So you spoke about that. What's the main difference that what you've seen on tape from his team this year as opposed to last year?
Well, I mean, they just haven't finished games, you know, and had a couple of miscues, and I understand that because we've been in the same position that they've been in. And that's the unique thing about this game. We've experienced some of the same things they've experienced, and you know, and that's just finishing ball games. But they're very capable of coming in here and sending us away with our heads down. But, you know, my job is to prepare our team not to let that happen. You know, they're a good football team, and we're not looking past them on any ends. We are preparing for them the same way we would prepare for any other team, and that's at a high level because we know, you know, they have a good football coach. He's a no-nonsense guy, and he's a guy that's going to have his team prepared. And, you know, I'm a no-nonsense guy, and I believe in having my team prepared. So it's going to be a good football game. And I tell people regardless, at the end of the day, if it's by 1 point or 100 points, you just want to be the team that's on the upside, you know. And we don't expect them to come in and lay down. We know they're going to come in and give us everything they got, and we're going to give them the same. And I'm really looking forward to this game on Saturday. I think it's going to be very exciting and entertaining.
All right, Coach Jenkins, I think that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us throughout this season, and best of luck against Miles.
Hey, thank you guys, man. It's been a good one. It's one
Conference recording started.
Thank you, guys.
Conference recording
That was Coach Jenkins of Alabama State University, whose team will take on Miles College at the Turkey Day Classic. Now we turn our attention to Mississippi, where Alcorn State coach Fred McNair is hopefully on the line. Coach McNair, are you on?
Conference recording started.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Good morning, Coach McNair. How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
Good. If you would, just recap your team's victory over Jackson State as well as look ahead to, I guess, the bye week as well as the SWAC championship.
Oh, well, that was a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Good environment for this football program here at Alcorn, man. I think the people really came out for this one, man. It was overwhelmed. I think the kids had a good chance to see what Alcorn football is like here on the reservation, especially when you're playing one of the arch rivals here at Jackson State. You know, I thought we came out the first half and kind of played okay in the first half, and not bad, but you know, going into the second half, I think we kind of made some adjustments as to what we need to make to get this football game pulled out for a victory. You know, so I think the kids, they played well. The defense played an outstanding game in the second half, shutting Jackson State out to not even score in the second half, and our offense kind of like I said, kind of got to where they was on a steamroll right there in the second half, coming out scoring 21 unanswered points there. So I think overall we did a great job, man, and my hat's off to Coach Hughes and his program up there at Jackson. I think he's done a phenomenal job with that program he's done up in Jackson, man, and you know, just a good friend of mine, and well, now we just wait to the week of the SWAC championship. Now going into this week, we're gonna work we're gonna work this week, and guys here this week, and we're gonna practice and get some work done. Get the kids off of Turkey Day and on Thursday and get back at it. So we got a lot of work to do and preparing for two teams right now because we don't know which one's gonna come out of the West in Grambling or Southern. So it'll be a good matchup either way. I think Coach Odums got his football team really rolling down there at Southern. I know Fobbs doing a great job down there at Grambling. So either way it goes, we have to play football on December 3rd against a good football program out of Louisiana.
All right, the floor is now open for questions for Coach McNair at Alcorn State University.
Coach McNair, Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, Trevor. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, sir. Thanks for asking. Coach, how healthy are the Braves as you have this off week, so to speak, moving into the preparing for the SWAC championship game?
Well, I think we're getting better, man. I think some of the Knicks and Bruisers are really healing up, man. And I think that this off week's gonna help us. Definitely will. I know it will. So give a chance to get some of the guys back that's beat up, man, and some of the guys that just kind of just sore a little bit. But from the Jackson State game, it just kind of give us a chance to get healed and hopefully get some of our key players back. Footman, he's been out for a couple of weeks, and Aaron Baker been out for a couple of weeks now. Actually going on 3 weeks for him. So those guys there that we need to get back, I think if we get those guys back, we'll be more competitive than we have been. So we're just looking forward to just getting those guys back this week, and hopefully next week we'll get some run out of those guys in practice.
And the reason I asked, Coach, was do you think you'll have them back ready for the championship game?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. That's what I'm looking forward to. This week is going to really help. So, just not having to do anything, just getting treatment and what they need to do to get healthy, man, and a little rehab and on the things that they got. But I think this week will really help us to get back healthy, get those guys back for next week.
And, Coach, either team, I heard you say you're preparing for two teams, which bless you on that one, Coach, because you're looking at two teams that have prolific offenses and plenty of weapons. How do you tackle preparing for either Southern or Grambling? I know they're not unfamiliar foes, but it still has to be a challenge when you're preparing for two teams as you wait a week.
Yeah, like I always do, we'll take a day and do some Southern stuff, and we'll take another day and do some Grambling stuff, and then the next day we'll kind of just combine some stuff without kind of putting too much into it with special teams and all that kind of stuff. So that's where we're going to approach it. We'll give a day for Grambling, give a day for Southern, and a special team day for the both of them. And on Thursday, like I said, we'll let the kids go and have some turkey with their family, and get back to work on Saturday. So that's what we're going to do, man. It's kind of tough, but, this coaching staff they've been working hard all year, man, and they've done a great job, a phenomenal job of preparing for these teams we've been playing this year, man. And I think they're up for the task, and we're excited about it, man. That's the thing that kind of gets us over it. We're excited about playing in the Northern SWAC Championship football game.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate your time, and enjoy the little time off and get some rest, and good luck in a week.
All right. Thank you, Trevor.
Conference recording stopped. Conference recording started.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Coach, Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting.
Hey, Ty.
So my guess is around, say, 5 o'clock on Saturday, I think I know what you'll be doing. You'll be watching the Bayou Classic?
Most definitely, man. We have it tuned in and and just see what they're doing. I don't too much expect too much different stuff that they've been doing, man. I think both of those ball clubs have really been good at what they're doing, man. And I think Kincaid got Grambling going on the road down there, man. And I know Tillery at Southern down there is really working his butt off. So we'll be watching those guys, man, and see if they're gonna bring anything new to the table. I know that the Bayou Classic is a big game for them both, and they're gonna put the best product out there on the field and try to win that thing. So we'll be watching and see what they're gonna be doing, and hopefully, like I said, next week we'll know who we're gonna be playing after Saturday. So that we'll be getting better prepared for that team that we're gonna play on December 3rd.
Hey, Coach, I'm sure it doesn't really matter who you play because you're there already in that championship game. However, being that you took on Southern just a few weeks ago, would it be an advantage to play them as opposed to playing Grambling?
Well, the biggest thing is, and just watching film, earlier, man, and we left a lot on the table against Southern, and we turned the ball over too many times, and turn the ball over 4 times. It's not going to be anybody. You won't be the high school football team if you turn the ball over that many times. And against Grambling, I thought we left some stuff out on the table that we saw. We just got to get better at it. We was, like I said, you played a Southern team you hadn't played just two or 3 weeks ago, and playing a Grambling team that you played early in the year. So you're pretty much familiar with the stuff that Southern did because it's freshly on your mind. But we just got to prepare for either one of them, man, and we just got to do a better job of putting our kids in a position to win ball games, especially when they're close.
Hey, Coach, thank you, man. Don't eat too much turkey. All right?
We'll talk to you. Man.
All right.
Hey, Coach, Luke Williams from the Black College Sports page. Between the two that you played, I know the Southern game was much closer. Your team played better maybe against Southern than Grambling?
Yeah, we did. I mean, we lost a quarterback in the Grambling game there in the first half. So, who knows what happened after that, but, we played a good Southern football team, and I think they was ready to play as well. And, we kind of like and you talk about did we play them better than we played Grambling? Yes, we did. And I thought, right there at the end, we still had a chance to pull that one off, regardless of all the turnovers that we had. But, I think Odums, he had those guys ready to play, man, and they played their butts off. And we just had too many turnovers there, and we executed the ball, I thought, pretty good during that game. And then we lost football during that course of that game too. So, he didn't play that game after the first half. And so you're looking at that, and you take him away from the offense, and also when you take a marquee player like Footman away from your offense, then the air goes out of it for a little while, and it's kind of hard to get it back. So, hopefully he'll be healed up and ready to play against whoever we play against this year.
Oh, you think Footman should be back for the championship game?
Well, I got all my toes crossed and my fingers crossed, man. So I hopefully he will be.
And finally, Coach, do you think your team is peaking now when you look back over the whole season in terms of health as well as execution? Do you think you're peaking in these last couple of weeks?
I think the last 2 games we played against Valley and against Jackson State, the last 2 weeks, man, they've been doing great, man. And I think they getting the whole picture now, and they seeing things a whole lot better, and the game done slowed down for them, So right now at this point, I think we're doing a great job of getting these guys ready to play, and the guys are understanding the concept of what we're trying to do on both offense and defense.
Good luck as you rest and get ready for the big game, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
I think we've got them all, Coach McNair. Thanks so much for joining us this season, and best of luck in 2 weeks.
All right, thank you, man.
Conference recording stopped.
All right, and that was Coach Fred McNair of Alcorn State University, whose team awaits the winner of Grambling versus Southern at the Bayou Classic. Now we turn our attention to Pine Bluff, where
Conference
Coach
recording
of Arkansas
started.
Pine Bluff will talk things over with us. Coach Coleman, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning.
If you would, just recap last week's contest against Prairie View A&M and talk to us a little bit about looking ahead.
Well, Prairie View, of course, came in with their ears bent back like we knew they would. Coach Simmons, he's doing a great job with those guys over there. And they came in, they played extremely hard. We continue to make mistakes, young mistakes, because we are a very young football team. And we just made too many mistakes. They made the plays, and we didn't make the plays. We did have a big kickoff return that gave us our 7 points, but we've got to get a little more productivity out of the offense, and we've got to play a little harder on defense and make plays. The thing that's encouraging about this season, which has been a very disappointing season, of course, going into training camp and addressing your team, you never anticipate anything like this. But it's been very disappointing. The thing that's an encouragement being it is a young football team. We did sustain a lot of key injuries in positions that made a difference. The guys fought hard. The guys continue to play hard. They were very coachable. They practiced hard. And just unfortunate for us, we didn't have the manpower to compete like we really wanted to. But the effort of the guys, the attitude of the guys, I was very, very pleased with. Right now, what we're starting to do is, of course, we're looking forward next season as far as recruiting, trying to find some ball players that can come in and give us a better chance. I applaud my athletic director and Mr. Hardy and the Chancellor Alexander, because they are bringing me up to speed with my scholarship issue. So we will have the ability to bring in more players for the 2017 season, and that hopefully will get us closer to an equal playing field with some of our sister schools.
All right, thank you, Coach. The floor is now open for questions for Coach Coleman.
Coach Coleman, Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, Trev. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, Coach. Coach, I know you said it's a disappointing season, and I understand, looking at the record. But, Coach, when I look at from SBN's perspective, you played 5 of the top 10 teams, well, 4 of them, and then a 5th one, which has been up and down in our poll. And I know coaches really don't pay too much attention to a poll. But as a coach, hearing that you played 5 of the top 10 teams in the country in black college football, and then having the record that you have, how does that make you feel? What do you look at when you hear that, and what do we look at moving forward?
And we are aware of that here as coaches and as an administration. Of course, we could have fared better against those guys, but we realize they're not in the top 10 for a reason other than they're playing good football. The thing that I look at is the youth that I have on my football team, the lack of depth that I have on my football team at this time. And to go out and play hard against good football teams like the Gramblings and Southerns and other teams like that, it makes me very optimistic for upcoming years. All we've got to do is make that turn, and that's what we're looking forward to this year by bringing in more ball players and adding them to the ones that we do have that's being productive, getting rid of some of the ones that's not being as productive and being a distraction. And it won't be long that we will be competing in SWAC play once again.
And, Coach, is there anyone, as you reflect on this past season, and I know coaches don't like to single out players either, but I'm going to ask, any particular players that just stood out this season for you in the development of your program that left you feeling good?
Well, yeah, there definitely was some older guys that stood out. They exhausted their eligibility. They're going to move on. Some's going to graduate in December. Some will graduate in May. But Willie Duncan, my middle linebacker, he's been a mainstay for us. He's been a leader, not just on the defense, but for the entire team. He broke another 100 tackle year again this year. So he's over 400 tackles in 4 years. So Willie Young, our receiver, he played well for us. Cody Swain played well. Some of the young guys that played well for us. Brandon Duncan, our quarterback, he played well for us until he got injured. Jamie Gillen, punter, I think he led the SWAC in punting this year. So there's a lot of guys' names that I can call that have played well, young guys that have played well, and we can definitely build off of those guys.
Coach, I always appreciate your time and talking to you, and good luck as you develop and get ready for next season.
Thank you very much.
All right, still taking questions for Coach Coleman at Arkansas Pine Bluff, if you have.
Coach Ken Rashad, HBCU Sports, how are you?
I'm good, Hen. How are you?
Good, sir. Just wanted to follow up on the comment that you made about your AD, Lonzo Hardy, bringing you up on your scholarship count. If you would, what exactly is the number of scholarships that you were playing with this season, and what do you expect that number to be next year?
Well, we've been about 20 scholarships less than what the NC2A has with a lot FCS school. And I'm looking forward to being right at what we need to be, which would be 63 scholarships. And that's what Mr. Hardy has committed to with his efforts, along with the Chancellor And, I look forward to that. Some of the other schools in the SWAC, without naming them, they're up to the 63, and we don't have the 63. I haven't had the 63. So, it would be an added advantage to be able to get the other scholarships so that we can get more players in that can play.
Thank you, Coach.
And let me say this, and when I use that, it's only as an example. The thing that I don't do, we don't strive on negative things here. We go out to play. That's what we do. We get paid to coach, and we get paid in most sense to play. So we don't use it as an excuse. We work hard, and we go out and we give it our very, very best. And it can only help us, I think, by adding some, a few more ball players to the mix.
All right, Coach Coleman, I think we've got them all. Thanks so much for joining us throughout the season, and best of luck.
Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Conference recording started.
That was Coach Coleman at Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Conference recording stopped.
To Prairie View A&M 57-7. Now we turn our attention to Grambling State University to talk things over with Coach Broderick Fobbs.
Conference recording started.
Texas Southern last week, and now they've got the Bayou Classic with Southern this week. Coach Fobbs, are you here?
I'm here.
Good morning, Coach Fobbs. How are you?
Good morning. How are you doing?
We're doing all right. If you would, just recap last week's contest against Texas Southern and give us a bit of a look ahead towards Southern this week.
Well, last week in Houston, a very beautiful day for football. Opportunity to go out and play against University of Texas Southern. Very competitive football team and very good defense and physical defense as well. And then offense that's physical also. They hit us in the mouth, and they hit us in the mouth early and created a couple turnovers and capitalized on a couple of those turnovers and then hit us on a couple big plays and had our backs against the wall. I thought our kids did a really good job of responding and fighting back and playing the game the way that they're meant to play it, and end up being, a successful football contest for our football team.
All right, the floor is now open for questions for Coach Fobbs at Grambling State.
Hey, Coach Fobbs, it's Luke Johnson from The Advocate. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing well. What's kind of the feeling around the team right now? Now that I'm sure it's anything in Grambling like it is at Southern. There's been some kind of anticipation building around this game in particular. Now that you guys get to focus on Southern and this big matchup that you guys have, what's kind of the mood with the team right now?
Well, everyone is focused. It is what it is. It's an opportunity to play good football and have a chance to win a conference championship, and that hasn't changed. It doesn't matter who we're playing. Right now, the focus is Southern University and what they do and what we do and playing the game the right way. So that's what it's all about. So the kids are the kids, and they're treating us the same way, so they understand that it's a football contest and it's an opportunity to further our dreams and our goals.
You guys obviously have one of the best, if not the best, receiver in the conference, and Chad Williams. Southern has one of the best, if not the best, defensive backs in the conference, and Danny Johnson. Are you anticipating the Jaguars to match Johnson up on Chad? And what have you kind of noticed looking at that specific play?
I don't know exactly what their plans are as far as matching them up. I mean, for us, it's more about what we do and running our system. We don't necessarily run plays for just guys. We run our system. and that's the way we go about doing it. It just so happens, Chad gets a lot of the balls, and but this past weekend, he did a really good job of taking Chad away, which allowed some other guys opportunities to make some plays. We missed a couple throws, a couple opportunities last week, but we also made some opportunities as well. So it's going to be a great contest. I wouldn't have it any other way. Two teams from the state of Louisiana, two teams that are undefeated in conference, and two teams that have really good talent. So I'm looking forward to it.
Are you anticipating having a healthy roster for Saturday? Anybody you expecting to miss the game?
No, we should have everyone. Everyone should be available. This time of year, nobody's 100% healthy. So it doesn't matter what team you speak to at this time of year. Everyone is dealing with something. I think the last day of being 100% healthy is probably the first day of training camp. So that it is what it is. This is an endurance race, and it takes mental fortitude and mental endurance and physical endurance in order to be there standing in the end. This is the month of November, and you have to win football games in the month of November in order to be there in the end. I know, September and October set up, November. But at the end of the day, you have to win football games in November to have a chance.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach Ken Rashad, HBCU Sports, how are you?
Hey, Ken.
Hey, looking at the game on Saturday, at one point you were down 28-7, down by 21, and your team scores, 40 unanswered points. Earlier in the season, you were down 16-0 to Prairie View, and your team scores 36 unanswered points, and you end up winning both of those games. But what does it say about your team? And talk about what you as a coach have to go through when you face situations like that, and your team, taking those deficits and being able to overcome. What does that say about the team and in terms of what your responsibility as a coach is in terms of making adjustments to overcome those deficits?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the character of our players. They all know that the other team is on scholarship, the other coaches are getting paid as well, and the other coaches know what they're doing also. So there's going to be adversity in every football game, but the key is how you're going to handle it. And I thought our kids did an exceptional job, spiritually, of the how. We always talk about the how you practice, how you play, how you go about doing things. Anybody can go out there, but our focus is how we go about doing it. And I didn't say a word. I didn't say a word to our team. We have a mature football team now, and they did the talking, and they responded. I'm always pleased with my players when they show me, their guts and their heart, and basically their spirit of the way that they approach things. It's when they don't that really gets me rattled, gets me upset a little bit. But more times than not, they've responded, they've communicated with each other, and they pulled things together, for themselves.
We still have time for one more question for Coach Fobbs at Grambling State, if anyone has one.
Coach Trevor A. Jones, SBM Sports. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing well, sir. Thank you. Hey, Coach, this is always an exciting game from a fan's perspective, and it's always a big game, Grambling and Southern, of course. In the past, as you've dealt with this game, has there been any particular aspect of the game that's always been like an X factor, special teams, maybe defense, maybe offense? And if there is, can you talk about it?
Well, it's been mostly the turnover situation. He who turns the ball over loses the game. And that's just the way it goes, In games like this, you have to play well, and you have to execute, and you have to tackle well, and you have to get on and off the field. That's just what it is. I mean, it's no different than any other football game. You have to execute and you have to play well, and that's just the way it goes.
I appreciate it, Coach, and good luck to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
right, Coach, I think we've got them all. Thanks so much for joining us throughout the season, and best of luck this weekend against Southern.
All right, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Conference recording stopped.
And that was Coach Fobbs at Grambling State, whose team will take on Southern in the Bayou Classic this weekend. Now we turn our attention to Jackson, Mississippi, to talk things over with Coach Tony Hughes. Coach Hughes, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
We're doing all right. If you would, just talk to us a little bit about last week's contest against Alcorn State and give us a bit of a look ahead going forward.
Well, first thing I want to commend is Coach McNair and his staff. Done a fine job getting his team prepared and for winning the SWAC Eastern Division. Knew that in a rivalry game it would be highly competitive, and that you can't make critical mistakes. And we made 2 critical mistakes in the middle of the third quarter while we were leading 16-14. We had a punt block, which we hadn't had a punt blocked all year. And then we came down and fumbled, sack calls fumbled by our quarterback, led to 14 quick points. That was the turnaround. We never got back in the game after that, and they basically finished us off, which is what good teams do, which is what well-coached teams do, especially at home and we're being on the road. As far as the future is concerned, this year, we are excited about the future of Jackson State football. We think that we made some strides, even though our record is not really an improvement off the year before. Losers or stats are for losers, and so statistically, we were one of the top defenses in the conference. We played steady, so we have to improve moving forward. On the offensive side of the ball, we were not as productive as we would like to have been. So during the off season, we have to improve our productivity on offense. We have to continue to play great on defense. And we led the league in attendance, almost 20,000 fans. Great support here. And the fan base is excited, and our young players are excited, and we'll be excited in January to get back and see what we can do in 2017.
All right. The floor is now open for Coach Hughes at Jackson State University.
Coach Hughes, Trevor A. Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Hey, Coach, moving forward, I hear some excitement in your voice, and I would suppose that some of that excitement is because of Jordan Johnson, your freshman running back. He looked like he had a pretty good season this season. Can you talk about him and then any other underclassmen that stepped up for you this year and, kind of brings that sunshine as we look forward to next season?
Yeah, Jordan is a true freshman from a local town here in Terry. Great kid, 3.5, 4.0 GPA student, engineering major. And I think he ended up averaging six yards a carry or something like that, and was a top 10 rusher in the conference as a true freshman, and split a lot of time. And we're excited about him. He can hit the home run. He can take it the distance. Hard-working kid, work ethic, and a great kid to build our program around. We got our freshman quarterback who played sparingly, Jawan Adams, who was a 3-star recruit, highly recruited. He can run and throw, even though we didn't necessarily expose him a lot this year to kill his confidence. And we expect big things from him. We end up playing this year about 20 true freshmen, which I think in this conference is probably unheard of. And a lot of it was out of necessity because of, not a lot of sophomores that we had to press them. And some of it was good, some of it wasn't. But, we went through the growing pains and those type of things. So moving forward, we played a lot of freshmen in the game the other day. And so we're really excited about our future, not just Jordan, but, we have our receiver, Carl Ollie, who went out the first game of the year with a broken wrist. He was having a great game at UNLV, and he didn't finish the game. We'll get him back, coming back to play for us. We got Jevin Floyd, who had a great game the other day. He'll be back to play for us. All of our running backs are back, Jordan and Robert Johnson, and so we just got to keep building and and stay confident and keep taking the right steps to move forward to, building a great program here at Jackson State.
Coach, thank you for your time, and good luck as you prepare for next season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Still taking your questions for Coach Hughes at Jackson State. Coach Hughes, if you would, talk about what the senior class has meant to your team this season.
Well, they were a senior class that has had 4 head coaches in 4 years. And when I walk in the room last January, here comes another head coach. And what is this story going to be? And through all of that, through spring ball, through summer conditioning, through summer camp, and through the season, these young men bought into our system. I'm very proud. I wanted to send them out as winners, which is very disappointing for us and for them. But they believed in the process. They stuck with the program. And, even Javancy Jones, one of the better defensive players in this conference, played with a lot of spirit, a lot of passion, a lot of fire. And he exemplified what we want to be here in the future. He's tough. He plays hard. He gives great effort every single week. And if we can build a program around kids like Javancy Jones, who was a 4th-year senior with 4 coordinators, 4 head coaches, and he believed in me, he believed in our coaching staff, and he was the leader of our football team, then we're going to have an opportunity to improve. And that's what I told him. This senior class is going to lay the groundwork or the foundation for us moving forward. So I'm really proud of each one of them, and very appreciative of their contribution to the future of Jackson State football.
Well, we still have time for one more question for Coach Hughes, if anyone has one. Speaking of Javancy Jones, based on his career stats, he would go down as perhaps one of the most productive players defensively that the FCS has seen in recent memory. How do you replace production like that going forward in the next year?
Well, we played a lot of kids this year, even Javancy. Javancy started on the punt team. He started on our kickoff coverage team. He played a little offense. He caught a touchdown. He was in our 3rd down package. Replacing him is going to be very difficult. But by playing a lot of kids and gaining a lot of experience through the season, the next guy that trots out there won't be in culture shock, and we won't tell him that you're the next Javancy Jones because, Jackson State has had some great linebackers, Darian Connor, Robert Brazile. Javancy Jones going down in history is one of those. I guess you never replace those type of legends. You just keep trying to find the next one.
All right, Coach. Seems like we got all the questions for you. Thanks so much for joining this season, and best of luck, and have a great Thanksgiving.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a great day.
Conference recording started.
And that was Coach Tony Hughes at Jackson State University. Now we stay in Mississippi to talk things over with Coach Comegy at Mississippi Valley State. Coach Comegy, are you on? Coach Comegy, are you here? All right, while we wait for Coach Comegy to join us, for those who are just coming in, we will reread the players of the week. Offensively, Prairie View A&M quarterback Trey Green took home the honors. He was 23 of 29 passing for 400 yards and a career-high 5 touchdowns with no interceptions against Arkansas Pine Bluff in their 57-7 win. He led the team on scoring drives on 7 of their first 8 possessions. Defensive Player of the Week was Texas Southern linebacker Jarius Moore. He recovered and returned 26 yards for a touchdown in Texas Southern's game against Grambling. Newcomer of the Week was Prairie View running back Stephon McCray. He ran the ball for 62 yards on 10 carries, scored 2 touchdowns in the Panthers' wins. And Special Teams Player of the Week was Arkansas Pine Bluff wide receiver Monte King. He had 4 returns for 139 total yards, and he also ran back a kickoff 93 yards for a touchdown, which was the Lions' only score of the game in their 57-7 loss against Prairie View. His 93-yard return was the second longest play of the season thus far. All right, we're going to try again to see if we can reach Coach Comegy out at Mississippi Valley. Coach Comegy, have you joined us yet? All right. Well, let's travel out to Prairie View. We can circle back to Coach Comegy if he joins later. Coach Simmons at Prairie View, are you on? Alright. While we wait for those coaches to come, we'll just go back over the news and notes and some scores. Again, the league would like to send out its congratulations to the Alabama State Lady Hornets. They defeated Texas Southern in the finals of the SWAC volleyball tournament yesterday to win their 3rd championship in 4 years. The Lady Hornets will find out who they'll play in the NCAA tournament during the Division I volleyball selection show, which is set to air on November 27th at 8 p.m. The 2016 SWAC football championship is set to return to Houston on December 3rd from NRG Stadium. Tickets are available now on Ticketmaster.com, and of course, if you could pass that information along, we gladly appreciate it. Taking a look back at the scores from this past week, Southern defeated Mississippi Valley 55-0. Alcorn State defeated Jackson State 35-16. Grambling State defeated Texas Southern 47-28. Auburn defeated Alabama A&M 55-0, and Prairie View defeated Arkansas Pine Bluff 57-7. All right, Coach Comegy, Coach Simmons, have you guys joined us yet?
Conference recording stopped.
All right, well, I guess we'll try to go out to Baton Rouge and see if we can talk things over with Coach Dawson Odums at Southern. Coach
Conference
Odums, are you
recording
on?
started.
Coach Odums.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Oh, doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, sir. If you would, could you just talk to us a little bit about your team's win over Mississippi Valley and give us a bit of a look ahead toward the Bayou Classic with Grambling State?
Well, it's kind of, you got to stay focused the whole season. And, around here, everybody want to talk about Bayou Classic. But I really thought our guys did a great job of focusing on Mississippi Valley from start to finish. And we probably played inspired football. You didn't look at the records. You just played the 11 guys that they put out there. And I thought defensively, it's one of the better defensive performances we've had since I've been here. And offensively, we just clicked on all cylinders. And we're very, very talented on both sides of the ball. And our guys are playing with great confidence. Nobody predicted them to be in this scenario. They've had their fair share of adversity, but nothing distracted them in that Valley game. And it's been like that all year. They come to work. Our theme is to go 1-0 every week. And that's what we focus on. And I really thought the guys did a great job of preparing themselves and getting themselves motivated to go out and finish off, first time at home. We've been able to go undefeated this year, and that's huge because that's a legacy this senior class can pass on. And we're at the end of November playing against a Valley team that came in here, didn't have nothing to lose, and we really got out them from start to finish and played inspiring football. So offensive, defense, and special teams, I really thought we played well.
All right, Coach. The floor is now open for questions for Coach Odums at Southern University.
Hello.
Any questions for Coach Odums?
Coach Odums, Trevor Nate Jones, SBN Sports. How you doing, Coach?
Doing great.
Hey, Coach, I had asked earlier about the Bayou Classic. Is there anything that particularly stands out about this game as an X factor, so to speak? I know you're familiar with each other. Big-time game for the fans' perspective anyway. We get all excited and lose our minds, and I commend you on keeping the players grounded. But what stands out in your mind as you approach this game as possible X factors? I'm talking about special teams, maybe turnovers, anything like that.
Well, I mean, you got two really good football teams that's going to play. So, in a lot of the categories, they're 1 and 2. A lot of the stats and rankings, there are a lot of similarities. They're a good football team, but I think the deciding factor has been a deciding factor in all games of this magnitude. I think turnovers will play a major part. I think last year they won the turnover battle, and we've been blessed this year. I think we're coming in now. We're right around maybe plus 17 in turnovers, so we've done a great job of taking the ball away and protecting the football. And we got to continue to do a great job of that because they do a great job of taking the ball away. So it's really going to come down to turnovers and penalties. I think whichever team can play hard and smart, protect the football, is probably going to have the upper hand in this football game.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We're still taking your questions for Coach Odums at Southern University. Coach Odums, you've got one of the more accomplished senior classes in the SWAC this season, and they've been in a game of this magnitude before. What have they been telling the younger players who are playing in this sort of game for the first time?
I mean, I think it's easy when you're a younger player to play in a game of this magnitude. I think it's difficult when you've played in it because now you understand it. Freshmen don't really understand it, so they're going to be themselves. I think the way you prepare is how you handle all that. It's not too big of a stage for anyone. It's the Superdome. You're going to have a chance to play, an opportunity to go 1-0, and I think that's why football team focus is. We've been going about business as usual. Had a great day this morning, and I think our guys are locked in. They know they're going to have to play well. Because we're playing against a very good football team that's going to create a difficult challenge. But I know come Saturday they'll be ready to play, whether they're a freshman or a senior. I don't think the stage will be too big for them.
We still have time for another question for Coach Odums at Southern, if anyone has one. All right, Coach Odums, it sounds like we've got them all. Thanks so much for joining us this season. Best of luck in the Bayou Classic, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Okay, thanks. Same to you guys.
Conference recording started. Conference recording started. Stopped.
And that was Coach Odums at Southern University, whose team
Conference
will take
recording
on Grambling State University in the Bayou Classic this Saturday. Now we'll try again to see if Coach Comegy at Mississippi Valley State is on. Coach Comegy, are you there?
Conference recording started.
Yes, I am. I apologize. I got caught up just, looking at some film, and I didn't realize the time was sliding by me. I do apologize for holding everybody up.
Oh, it's all right, Coach. If you would, just talk to us a little bit about your team's contest against Southern this past weekend, as well as give us a bit of a look ahead going forward.
Well, Southern played very, very well. They executed well, and they beat us up front, and they did a good job. Their skilled kids did a fantastic job, and they just operated very, very well. And we just couldn't keep them under control. We threw several interceptions. We couldn't get anything moving from an offensive standpoint of view. Their defense was swarming and doing a good job, and we just couldn't get anything generated. We couldn't gain any momentum in that game to even to start out to try to make it a game because we just kept their turnover ratio in our game. I think 4 interceptions maybe, and they sacked our quarterback several times for a big loss, and so we just couldn't get anything generated. They beat us up front, and I take my hat off to them, congratulate them on a outstanding football team and game. So right now we're just going to have to get ready for recruiting and get in the weight room and do what we got to do to see if we can continue developing this team. I know the scores to me, are very hurtful, but it's not indicative of the type of football team I think we can develop here. And we just got to get on to it and get moving and not worry about the past and start thinking about the future right now and see if we can take some of the things that we saw from other people and see if we can make them pluses in our program, meaning there's some schemes that I've seen, defensive things that we've noticed, and how people are doing things and see if we can incorporate a few of those things, but yet and still remain or have our own identity. So, that's what I'm concentrating on right now is recruiting and getting in that weight room and doing what we got to do to build a program here.
All right, the floor is now open for questions for Coach Comegy at Mississippi Valley State. All right, Coach Comegy, if you would, just talk to me a little bit about, any bright spots that you guys have or are looking forward to going into next season.
Well, I think our skill kids, our receivers, and some of our skill kids can play some good football. We just got to mature in that offensive line, but I think in our skilled areas, we've come a long way with getting some talent that can help us win football games. And I think, even though we're young, we still got some young DBs that are going through some experience this year, but there's some of them that really can play. So there's some talented bright spots, and where we're moving up in the level of play as far as athletes are concerned. And so we just need to get a few more, and so that we can continue moving up in our level when we face some teams that have outstanding athletes. We're not able to match up right now in some areas, and so we want to be able to match up a little bit better, and that's what the recruiting this year is going to do for us, and that's at least what we're going to look for is being able to match up on the talent level that we see in the conference, because it's extremely high when you look at teams like the top 3 right now, Alcorn, and you're looking at Grambling, and you're looking at Southern. Of course, their talent levels is up there and high. If you can match that talent level, if we can just kind of match that, I think we'll be okay in the conference. But right now, we're unable to do that at this point, and so we're going to have to go out there and try to find players that can help us match up a little bit better to go along with our scheme.
Coach Ken Rashad, HBCU Sports, just to piggyback off of your comment, earlier in the teleconference, Monte Coleman addressed the issue of increasing the number of scholarships for his squad going into next year. Is that a problem that you face right now, and is that something that you plan to address in the offseason, or what is the status of that as it relates to your allotment of scholarships that you have for players?
I'd rather hold my tongue on that one, and because I think we have a plan here to get on a level playing field, and I just don't want to get out and start a whole lot of stuff about that. I've heard our plan. I like what I'm hearing, and and if we could, if our plan comes into play, and we can do some of the things that some of the other schools are doing, then we can get on a level playing field and then let it hang out from there. But until we're able to do that, I'm just going to wait and and just see and see and let it turn into something that we want, rather than me concentrating on it right now wholeheartedly, and rather than going out there recruiting the big dogs that I need to recruit. So let me stay with the recruiting aspect of it, the winter workout aspect of it, and then when the other thing hits, that'll be just gravy for us, and it can be a big change builder for our program.
we still have time for a question or two for Coach Comegy at Mississippi Valley State University. Coach, if you could you talk a little bit more about, the ball hawking abilities of your secondary? They seem to have been able to make good on some opportunities when they've had a chance to make some plays.
Well, they have, but it hasn't been consistent as we like, and we've been making some changes back there, playing a lot. Some guys that that we're hoping to redshirt, but we had to bring them out, and play them. So, they're good athletes, and, we just got to get a little bit better back there, more of them. We just don't have enough of them, and that kind of hurts your program a little bit. And, it's not like the old days where you have a recruiting mistake and you say, well, okay, I'm not going to bring you back, but then APR hits you in the butt, so you have to wind up keeping them, things of that nature. So you have to make sure that, we got to make sure that we're on target and don't make any recruiting mistakes as we go through this recruiting process.
All right. Are there any more questions for Coach Comegy at Mississippi Valley State? All right, Coach. Sounds like we've got them all. Thanks so much for joining us throughout this season.
Thank you, and I apologize again about being late. And to all the fellas, I do apologize. That's not me, and I just want you to know that, and it won't happen again.
It's all right, Coach Comegy. We appreciate you for joining us, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Okay, you too. Take care.
Conference recording started.
All right, and that was Coach Comegy
at
Mississippi Valley State. And now we will try and circle back to Prairie View to try and talk things over with Coach Simmons. Coach Simmons, are you here? All right. Well, we'll try to go down the road to Texas Southern University to talk things.
Can you hear me, sir?
Coach Simmons?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Thanks for joining.
Recording started.
How are things for you?
Going well. Just trying to clean up some things. The season being over, and just again starting the next phase.
All right, Coach Simmons, if you would, just talk to us a little bit about your team's win last weekend, as well as, looking ahead to 2017.
Well, we finished the season on a positive note. Went out and played probably our most complete game against Arkansas Pine Bluff. Had our highest offensive output of the season. Had two guys recognized by the conference. Quarterback Trey Green threw 400 yards and 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, and Stephon McCray, was newcomer of the week. And so did a good job of playing all three phases. Defense kept them out of the end zone. Their one score came on a kick return. So they did a really good job. And aside from the kickoff return, they gave up late. I thought the special teams did a pretty good job as well. So went into the game hoping that win would be enough to give us a at-large playoff berth. That didn't happen. So we're extremely disappointed in that. Being it's the second year in a row, we felt we fielded a team that did enough on the field to warrant an at-large bid. But as last year, that's part of it, and we want to continue to grow the program in a manner to where we're not depending on someone else to control our destiny, that we're controlling our own destiny by winning games on the field. And that's something that we're pledged to do here. And, of course, recruiting is a large part of that, and that's kind of where our focus is shifted now as we hit the road recruiting and to try to improve our talent level and the depth at a lot of positions to move forward to be able to, again, finish some of the games this year that we weren't able to, like Grambling and Southern. But all in all, I'm proud of the young guys of how they competed. They showed the ability to fight back all year long, with their resilience, their ability to overcome adversity and stay together is something that I'm proud of. So we're right building blocks. Just got to continue to press forward and continue to grow the program in the way that we all envision it growing.
All right, Coach Simmons. The floor is now open for questions for Coach Simmons at Prairie View A&M.
Coach Ken Rashad, HBCU Sports. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, sir. I know that at one point during the season, given where things stood with respect to your place in the standings with Grambling and Southern having lost those games, there appeared to be some sort of a focus or strategy to possibly get a at-large bid in the FCS playoffs. Unfortunately, that did not happen for you and your team. Talk about the thought process about that, the process, and I guess making a plea to be a part of that process, and what the reaction was for you and your players when that didn't come through.
Well, of course, after the loss of Grambling, we kind of had to shift our focus a little bit. We felt that they were a good enough team that it would be tough for them to lose twice. So it was kind of a twofold strategy. One, to hopefully beat Southern and create some type of three-way tie where we win the tiebreaker, which, again, it was not a long shot, but a lofty goal, being that we did lose to Grambling by 20. So we knew, based on the points, that we would have to beat Southern by a certain amount to be able to win the tiebreaker. And then the other goal was to do enough to hopefully warrant a postseason playoff berth, which last year we felt, again, that we did enough, winning 9-8 games, I guess, depending on how you consider the faith game, and only losing 2 games, one to an FBS opponent, one to Grambling, who finished a regular season undefeated in conference play. But the feedback we got, we felt, was that the faith game hurt us because of the strength of schedule. Well, this year we played Texas A&M, who's a top 25 FBS team, and then we played Rice, who's another FCS opponent. So we increased our strength of schedule, and then, of course, had to go through a 9-game conference schedule where we lost 2 games to 2 teams who haven't lost an FCS game all year. Grambling is ranked in the top 25 in FCS football, and Southern definitely warrants that to be ranked. And so we felt that we had done enough on the field. We beat some really good teams. We played really well against Rice. I mean, put 44 points on them and almost 500 yards to say, well, looking at our body of work over the course of 2 years, that we wanted to be. A lot of teams get in the playoffs based on reputation. And last year there was some 6-5 teams that got in. This year there's another 6-5 team that got in just because of the conference that they're in. And so we feel like the SWAC right now is not getting the respect that we deserve. Again, I put a lot of these teams up against any team in the playoffs right now, and we definitely give them a handful. So it's extremely disappointing. Again, we feel like we're a good enough team to do that and go into the playoffs. But again, that's out of our control. We just got to keep working to get better, and hopefully in the future not put ourselves in a situation where 2 years in a row we've had to wait on the committee to let us in, as opposed to representing our conference in the SWAC championship.
Well, Coach, you say that a lot of it is based upon reputation, and given what Prairie View has done over the past couple of years, is this something that maybe the conference should do overall as an initiative? What more could be done, and is this something that might need to be a discussion going forward?
I think that's a discussion to be had amongst the powers that be. As coaches, I don't know how much influence we have in that. We're shifting to a 7-game conference schedule next year, which allows us to play more out-of-conference games, so scheduling more FCS opponents, maybe getting more guaranteed games and things of that nature may help. But again, we last year, I guess our strength of schedule wasn't good enough. This year was a lot better, playing 2 FBS teams rather, and that wasn't enough. So again, what's the solution? Do you just schedule all FCS opponents and out of conference? And if you what happens if you beat 2 of them and lose the 2 of them? Is that enough? So at the end of the day, I think, again, that's something that as a conference we have to continue to press for, because we deserve respect. And right now I think it's an overall lack of respect for the Southwestern Athletic Conference, maybe because we waived our automatic qualifying bid a while back. Maybe they don't think we're serious about the playoffs. But I would be hard-pressed to think that any coach in this conference would be opposed to going to the playoffs if they have a team that's deserving. And as a head coach at Prairie A&M, I feel that 2 years in a row we've been deserving to go to the playoffs over a 6-5 team that's got 4 or 5 conference losses in another conference. And so, again, it's not for me. That's not my fight. My job is to get this team ready to take the field next year and put a product out there that doesn't have to put it in someone else's hands. But I think as a conference moving forward, that we have to demand the respect of a Missouri Valley Conference, of the OVC or Southland Conference, or some of the Southland Conferences, and Southern Conference, some of those other conferences that teams get in with 6-5 records. That they say, well, their strength of schedule is better because they feel the teams in that conference are better. Again, I lining them up against Grambling and Southern this year, and I'd like to see the outcome and see if they still feel the same way. So this is extremely disappointing, but again, that's a fight for another day. We're just going to hit the road, get the recruiting, finish up strong academically, and continue to try to move this program forward in the way that we all envision it going.
Appreciate it, Coach. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Same to you.
Hey, Coach Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting. On that same note, and I know you look at a team like Illinois State, who were 6-5 this year, and they got in. Most of the time when the HBCUs play up in competition at the FCS level, most of the time I guess they're playing the so-called money games, where you're taking on the Texas A&Ms and the Rice, and there's some money involved there. Now, would it be better if the schools like the MEAC and say the SWAC took on teams like Villanova, St. Francis, PA, or Richmond as a way of playing up and competing against those teams in the regular season as a way of showing that they are on that level? Would that make a difference? Because maybe sometimes they're looking at the overall record.
It could. That's a part of it. But again, that's a twofold issue, because one, how much money is Villanova going to give Prairie View to go play them? And not as much as Texas A&M is going to give you, obviously, and not many places in the SWAC and the MEAC have venues that are enticing enough for a Villanova, a Montana, or James Madison to come play here. We're fortunate here to have a new facility. We have Sam Houston State coming to our place next year. We have Nicholls State coming to us in 2018. So we have we have the ability to host games against FCS opponents, but not many other schools in the conference and in the MEAC can say that. So, do we sacrifice financial needs that we all have, which is why we play those guarantee games, for the chance to get an at-large playoff bid? Because that's what it would be. It would be an at-large bid. It's not a guarantee because we don't have an automatic qualifier. So do we sacrifice money for the chance that a committee says, oh, well, y'all done enough? Well, again, what happens if we lose that game to Villanova after traveling across the country to fly and play a team in a perceived better conference? So there are a lot of things that go into that. Again, I think with the 7-game conference schedule, it will allow us to play more FCS schools, which may, again, show the committee that we are able to play on the same level with a lot of those schools. But we do have our financial needs. We still need guarantee games to support not only football but the other non-revenue sports. And again, but it's something that definitely needs to be addressed, because at the end of the day, I still think it is overall disrespect for the MEAC conference and the SWAC conference, who've had really, really good teams over the last few years, who haven't had a chance to show what they can do against some of the other teams in the country.
How much do you think the SWAC championship game is a deterrent to that? Because normally you get the SWAC championship game, you have 2 teams, and if they were to take a team for the playoffs, they may be, I guess, in their estimation, looking at a team that if you didn't make this SWAC championship game, why would you be considered for the playoffs? Although in North Carolina A&T's case, they were qualified because they were ranked all season for the most part.
Well, what's the justification of taking a 6-5 Illinois State team that lost 4 games in their own conference?
I agree with you. I agree.
And so, it's a lot of things that go into that. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all FCS programs. We're all in FCS conferences. So, do they view FCS like they do FBS, where you have the Power 5, which is the SEC, ACC, Pac-12, Big 12, and Big 10? Do we have that in FCS? Is the Missouri Valley considered a Power 5 in FCS, whereas the SWAC is a mid-major? I mean, how do you justify who plays where? I mean, we haven't played teams from other conferences very often throughout this conference. A few years ago, Prairie View beat Stephen F. Boston. I mean, Alabama State, I think, is beating some schools from some conferences. I mean, Tennessee State's in the OVC, and a lot of our schools have beaten them. So, what's the justification of saying that the SWAC football is not as good as the Missouri Valley? We haven't played head-to-head. So, again, I just think it's an overall lack of respect perceptually. It has nothing to do with what's being done on the field. I think it's just perceptual. Again, Grambling had lost again. Grambling took Arizona to the wire, Arizona. And, I mean, if it was aside from the Bayou Classic, would they have gotten a bid? I mean, Southern played Tulane and Louisiana Lafayette very, very closely. We played Rice very closely. So is that not enough to say that we're good enough to play against some FCS teams? Again, I don't have the answer to that. All I do know is that I feel like my team has done enough in 2 years to warrant postseason play, and we haven't done that. So I think we need more answers. We have a lot of questions, but we're not getting any answers. So we need to know what do we need to do? Maybe someone can tell us what we need to do. Do we need to schedule more FCS games? Do we need to, what just tell us? And I think we'll all do that because we want to grow our programs. We want to get on the national stage and show what we can do. And so for us, it's just about finding out what that is because we went a totally different approach between last year and this year with our scheduling. And we'll go in a totally different direction next year with our scheduling. So we're trying everything we can between my athletic director and I'm sure all the other athletic directors and coaches in the conference to figure out what we need to do to show people across the country that we are good football teams, we have really good football players, and we deserve the same type of recognition as everyone else in the country because clearly right now we're not getting it.
Coach, thanks for the comments. I do agree with you, and I think for us as media members, those are questions we, too, have to raise with the NCAA about why they make the selections that they do, and that's all I'll say about that.
Yes, sir.
All right, Coach Simmons, I think we've got them all. Thanks so much for joining us throughout the season, and have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything.
Conference recording stopped.
All right, that was Coach Simmons at Prairie View A&M University. Now we turn our attention to Texas Southern University to talk things over with Coach Michael Haywood. Coach Haywood, are you on?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning to you as well.
Good. If you would, just talk to us a little bit about your team's contest against Grambling this past weekend, as well as give us a bit of a look ahead into 2017.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate Coach Fobbs on the victory. It was an outstanding game his team played, and coming back from a 28-7 deficit as we were going into the second quarter, leading 28-7. We were creating turnovers on defense, hitting big plays on offense, special teams really playing well. And they rallied their troops in the second quarter and ended up going, I think the score was 33-8. They went up 33-8 in the second quarter, rallied back as champions should do, and then end up winning the game 47-28. And we couldn't get anything going in the second quarter on offense. Special teams were terrible. And, we just put our defense in bad position throughout the rest of the day. But I compliment Grambling on a job well done, and they did a terrific job, offense, defense, and special teams.
All right, the floor is now open for questions for Coach Haywood at Texas Southern University. If you would, Coach, could you talk a little bit about, your younger faces? It seems as if you had a lot of contributions from some new members of the team this season. And what kind of confidence does that give you going forward into next year?
Well, we're going to lose 28 seniors off our team. However, it gives us a lot of confidence because a lot of young players had an opportunity to play this year. We have some guys on campus that were ineligible to play that we're going to put on scholarship next year. And they did a tremendous job running our scout teams for us, and going to be some of the faces to be recognized next year on our football team. But it gives an opportunity for the young guys that had good playing experience to build upon the foundation in which our seniors helped build this year. And as I explained to the student athletes in the locker room the other day, you guys have laid the foundation for us to learn how to compete by the way in which we played in all our games this year. Because really we were only out of one game, and that was the game versus Sam Houston. So you've taught these young players how to compete. Now they have to build upon the foundation in which you guys have built, and they have to learn how to win. And that Prairie game when we open up the season next year will be a very important game for us as we start our off-season program, our fourth quarter program, and go into spring ball, because these young guys are going to have to learn how to win.
We're still taking questions for Coach Haywood at Texas Southern, if anyone has them. All right, Coach, you do have a lot of seniors that are departing after this year, but you do have a couple of younger guys who are coming back. One of those guys is Brad Woodard, who seemed to provide a bit of a spark in the rushing game as the season went on. Could you talk to me about his play and how it helped your offense going down the stretch?
Well, one of the things that we want to do is be able to run the football first, and Brad Woodard and Tyler Cook, two young tailbacks that are coming back with a lot of experience. And then also we have Butler that's coming back that'll be able to contribute as well. And then we're going to sign a couple of tailbacks this upcoming year. And so we're going to be pretty young at the tailback position, but with the amount of time that Woodward received and Tyler Cook received in the game, we will have experience, although they're young.
All right, Coach, while the season didn't go as you would have liked it to go record-wise, your team was in a lot of games this year that could have gone either way. I think you guys may have dropped 5 games that were decided by one possession. What does that tell you about your team going forward?
Well, it goes back to what I said previously, is that we've learned how to compete, but we haven't learned how to win because we haven't learned how to finish teams off in the fourth quarter. At the same time, in every game in which you're talking about, there's an opportunity to go up by 2 scores and basically put the game out of reach because of the clock. And we haven't learned how to do that. And so we have to make sure that during this off season that we teach these young people how to win and how to take over a football game and to control the football game, instead of, hey, just being happy that you're in the game.
Hey, Coach.
Go on.
This is Ty Miller from Sheridan Broadcasting. I want to ask you a couple of questions about your game against Grambling. What happened in the second half when you were shut out there?
Well, we didn't move the ball very well. We were playing 2 different quarterbacks. We played JB and we played Hertz, and we were really ineffective in running the football with the quarterbacks. We started moving the ball. Down the field, and then we turned the football over. Then we have a big play. We come back, and the next thing you know, we don't cut off the backside of a power play, and the next thing you know, we're in a long yardage situation, a second and long, and we're not a team. Last year or this past season, we're not a team that can get behind the chains. When we get behind the chains, we don't have a drop-back passing game because we don't have the personnel to have a drop-back passing game, and it causes us a lot of problems. And so with that being said, we got behind the chains and we weren't able to move the football consistently. And then when we moved it, we turned it over.
Well, Coach, after your first complete go-around in the SWAC, what have you found out about this conference that you did not know coming in?
There's some really good football coaches and some really good players in the conference that do a really nice job. And I just believe that some of the coaches that do a really good job in this conference are overlooked in the big spectrum of college football.
And finally, Coach, you had like opponents in Grambling and Southern. And looking at both teams, how would you view that matchup when they take on each other in the Bayou Classic?
I think it's going to be an outstanding contest. Grambling plays a certain defense in which they try to force you to pass the ball because they overload the box. However, in watching Southern's run game, depending on how they look at that defensive scheme and how they attack it, they should be able to run the football against them and have some success. Because, although they're overloaded by one man, you can still get to everybody that you need to get to the block to have success, and they do a nice job in the run game. And then also they'll match up really well out wide. And then with the tight ends in which they have, I think that they can create opportunities to get the ball to their tight ends in the game. You look at Grambling's offensive team. They have that big back, and the big back, if you don't come up and hit him in the mouth, he will cause you some problems because you can't ankle tackle. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how Southern comes up and tackle that big back, because when we play Southern, we're able to run the football against them. So it'll create some problems for Southern. And then also, and I just believe Grambling has some of the best receivers in the conference, because we had guys double covered. We have two guys going up for the ball, one in front, one behind him, and he goes up in the middle and catches the football for a touchdown. So, and watching those receivers from Grambling the other day, I believe they have the best receivers. Southern may have the best tight ends. So it'll be a good matchup going both ways. And then defensively, Southern does a nice job of adjusting, and so does Grambling. But, it's going to be a really good game. It's going to be fun to watch.